Hi guys, I'm Saumya and I'm back again with another video. I make a lot of bookish content on this channel, so if you are a book lover and you want to read more books, then please hit that subscribe button. So in today's video, I'll be recommending 5 books that I consider to be page turners because I found them to be very easy to read and very engaging. And I believe that you will like these books as well. The first book is Yellow Face by R.F. Kuang. So this book is set in the publishing industry. It's the story of a woman named June who is a failed author because her literary career is not taking off. On the other hand, her ex-classmate Athena is a roaring literary success. She has everything going for her. So June and Athena hang out sometimes, and during one such hangouts, Athena chokes in front of June and she ends up dying in this weird, unexpected accident. June is obviously shocked, but by some stroke of luck, she stumbles upon an unpublished manuscript by Athena, and she ends up stealing this manuscript, and then June ends up publishing this stolen manuscript in her own name, and overnight her fortunes change. She becomes extremely successful, and this stolen success is very dear to June, and this story is about what all she is prepared to do to protect this stolen success. So this story is a thriller, which is why it is a page turner, and in addition to that, this story is also a commentary on the workings of the publishing industry, most of which is negative commentary, but it's quite interesting to read. And then a very important part of the narrative in this book is the online chatter that is so prevalent in our worlds today, people posting their opinions on Twitter and all other social platforms. So that blends in with the narrative in the story as well. The next book is Sakina's Kiss by Vivek Shanbag, translated from Kannada by Srinath Perur. So this is my second book by Vivek Shanbag after Ghachar Ghochar, which I read a few years ago. This book came out not very long ago, and as soon as I found out about this book, I got my hands on it. So the reason this book is a page turner is because it has been written very engagingly, and it's a very quick read because it's short. So you will be over with this book in no time. It's a story about a man named Venkat who is a middle class man with a simple life until one day his life turns upside down when two goon type men knock on his door informing him that they have some business with his daughter Rekha. Now, Rekha is away visiting their ancestral village, so Venkat cannot really establish any communication with her because there is no network in that village. So the next few days are quite wild for Venkat. This book has a very thrilling, tense atmosphere and a lot to think about in terms of how the characters behave, their thought processes. So once you read this book, you will have a lot of opinions and you will have a lot to say. The next book is Good Talk by Meera Jacob. So this is a graphic novel, and this is non-fiction because this is a graphic memoir in which Meera Jacob talks about her life growing up in the United States as a brown kid, as a brown woman. So her parents were immigrants, but she was born and raised in the United States. So she is as American as one can be. And she lives in New York, which is a very diverse and a cosmopolitan city. But despite all this, she talks about her experiences of feeling excluded in this country and of facing racism from time to time. She also talks about how she faced colorism from her own family members because they would fuss about her dark complexion, about her potential inability to find a husband. So apart from these topics, this book has also talked about two very important events. One was 9/11 and the other one was the 2016 elections that elected Donald Trump as the president of the United States. This graphic novel has been told in the form of conversations, which is what makes this book very different, and I was able to read this one in a single sitting. The next book is Tales of the Natural and the Supernatural by Vibhuti Bhushan Bandyopadhyay, translated from Bengali by Debashish Sen. So this is a collection of short stories that pertain to nature as well as ghosts and paranormal activities. So this book has an old world charm and it takes you back in time, and it took me back in time, and it was a very moving experience, especially the stories that talked about nature. So these are very simple stories, but at the same time, they completely enchant you. At least that's what happened with me. I loved reading this book so much. I could have read this book so quickly, but I deliberately took my time with this one because I didn't want it to get over, because this is a really short read. It literally can get over in no time. The next book is Laughable Loves by Milan Kundera. So this is a collection of 7 short stories that revolve around the topic of love, but these are not your mushy romantic love stories that will make you warm in your heart. In fact, quite the opposite. These stories are very complex and have very unique characters, and these stories are laced with sadness and despair. These characters can give any overthinker a run for his or her money. So if you can read this book with a detached air without getting too involved with how the characters are behaving, then it can be a very interesting and an engaging read, and also a peek into the psychology of some quirky people. So that was it. Please go ahead and read all of these books or any of these books. I'm sure you'll like them. That was it for today's video. If you want to connect with me on my social media, then the links are in the description box. I'll see you next time. Till then, bye bye, take care and stay safe.